As I think most reasonable people understand, President Obama inherited the worst economic crisis in 70 years. We were losing 750,000 jobs a month. We were facing a $3 trillion hole in the economy because of the collapse of consumer confidence and consumer purchasing power. To respond to that problem, we passed and the President signed the much maligned recovery package, which attempted to slow the shrinking of the economy by providing significant tax cuts to middle-income people, by providing emergency economic help to families who lost their jobs, by providing significant funding to states to prevent layoffs of policemen, firemen, and teachers. We attempted to keep private sector workers on the job by helping states with highway, bridge, and airport construction, and by making investments in energy reform, which would lead to greater energy independence and reduce the $300 billion a year that we ship off to foreign countries for their oil. That action had a significant effect. Instead of continuing to lose 750,000 jobs a month, the economy is again producing jobs, some 520,000 over the last 2 months. But welcome as that is, the economy is still in trouble, and we have an obligation not to let up in efforts to save or produce jobs. Congress is trying to do that by taking action on a number of fronts, including reforming federal oversight of Wall Street banks and other financial institutions. The recovery bill last year saved over 300,000 education jobs, but because states have not yet recovered and local economies are just beginning the recovery process, we still have a shortage of the financial resources necessary to keep teachers, firemen, and policemen on the job for another year while state budgets catch up. On that score, we have two choices. We can sit frozen in the ice of our own indifference, as Franklin Roosevelt once said, or we can take action to save those jobs. Now, some will say, and they already have said, oh, you're only saving public jobs. No, we are taking numerous actions to help stabilize the private sector, but the public sector does not exist in splendid isolation. The public sector is supposed to meet the needs of the private sector of the economy and the needs of every American family. We do our country no favors if we allow the weakness of the economy to lose the services of qualified teachers, which in turn would result in exploding class size and a drastic decline in educational opportunities and quality for school-aged children. In the last analysis, the proposition which we are supporting is really not about teachers or firemen or policemen. It is simply a recognition that the country is not strengthened when the public safety is endangered, and it is certainly not enhanced by shortchanging the quality of the education provided to each and every student in the country. As has already been noted, we have only one chance to educate a child. We can't say, oh, let's put this kid on hold for 2 years until the economy recovers, because the economy may recover, but the kid won't. That's why I'm going to be asking on Thursday that the Appropriations Committee support the roughly $23 billion for an education job fund. Those funds would go to states for distribution to local school districts to help pay salaries of teachers, counselors, librarians, and other school personnel who would otherwise be facing layoffs. We believe the result would create or save about 300,000 education jobs in the coming year. We have a choice between doing something and doing nothing, and we choose to do something. I would also note, anticipating some criticism, I would note that the Republican Policy Committee put out a sheet this morning of so-called education facts. They claim, for instance, that the proposal that we will be presenting to the committee will allow states to use money for rainy day funds rather than for education. That is flatly not true. Our amendment differs in significant ways from the amendment that was being considered in the Senate. the protections that were built into the Recovery Act with respect to reform are still in this bill. They are referenced in this bill, and they are in effect under this proposition. So, in short, virtually every critique made by the Republican Policy Committee, while interesting, those critiques have nothing whatsoever to do with the legislation before us, because, in fact, they're describing a bill that on the House side does not exist. I would hope that our committee would approve the amendment. I would hope the House would approve the bill containing the amendment, and I would hope that in the end the Congress does its duty and does something besides sitting on its hands while some of America's best teachers are in danger.